Party needs a place to recuperate and rest up. Want to give them a springboard into your campaign? Well, stick around to the end of this video. I'll give you the 5 tips in order to creating your hometown for your party. Let's get into it. Welcome back, Storyteller. My name's Khalil Roberson, an experienced DM here to help you pursue your fantasy. And in this video series, we're going through the various process of how I would create my own campaign. If you haven't watched the previous video of how you start with the ending of your campaign, please, it's up in this iCard over here. Watch that one first and then hop back into this one. So let's dive into this campaign creation series and actually figure out my tips for creating your party's hometown. Step number 1. Build the essentials. All the essentials that your party will need. So if you have a fighter, obviously you're going to need someone who can craft weapons and do all that stuff with armor and whatnot. If you have a wizard, obviously you need some kind of library full of resources that they can get more magic through and whatnot and read more wizarding books. If you have a cleric, yes, you're going to need a temple so they can pray to some kind of god or their god, or even allow them to start their own temple. That'd be a really cool idea. But anyways, so step number 1 really is to build all the essentials. What does your party need in order to basically survive and thrive with their different character concepts, and then to continuously progress? And then everything else you can really just add later on. Step number 2 is to figure out your government. So this is something that I like to do in order to add a little more depth to my campaigns and to my worlds overall, is to make a government for my towns in the hometown that the players are in, just as a backdrop that they can interact with if they want to. So is your government an oligarchy, which is like a high rich elite who run all the show, a monarchy with the one singular ruler, a democracy in which, if it is democracy, who has the right to vote? Or is it a combination of all of them? Or is it simply just has no government, but everyone simply respects each other because they have barely any resources, so they all codepend on each other? Figure out what the government is of your town, and it'll just add another layer and level to the overall complexity of your town. All right, let's move on to the next tip. Put in the NPCs important to your story arc. So remember in the last video, we talked about bulleting the various story arcs and how the party is going to really get to the ending that we had created. Well, now this is a point in time where you're going to start dropping in those NPCs that need to really get the party to point A to point B, which is the ending of the campaign. So start putting them in, and as you're putting them in and really intertwining them into the hometown itself, you're really fleshing out the NPCs way more at a deeper level, as you have them at the campaign level that you know what they're good at or what their necessary goal is, and you know at the hometown in the city level what they want and what their goals are. And you know, you don't have to go crazy complicated with prepping out these different NPCs. You can literally just write out one sentence and just give a reasoning why they want to go up into why the ending of the campaign, and give them a reason why they're inside of this town itself. That could all be lopped together in one sentence itself. But nonetheless, make sure you figure out all the NPCs that will lead your party from point A to point B, and just flesh them out a little more and give them more root and more grounding inside of your hometown. Tip number 4 is to make an economy. This is something that, again, you don't necessarily need to do, but it really does add another layer and another level to your overall cities and towns in your hometown for your players, is to add an economy. What exactly does this place revolve on in order to get all their money really for their entire town? Are they a fishing community? Are they really about their innovation and technical prowess, which you can use for magic itself? Or are they a textile industry, which they have a bunch of these huge mills that they use in order to actually build all their textiles? What is the economy that makes this entire city or hometown survive and thrive? And question of the day, or quest of the day, I should say. What is the economy of Mournfall? Which actually, for all of you who don't know, is the name of our city that we're going to be using for our campaign. So post that answer down below. And if you would like to really participate in this whole campaign creation process, just stick on all my different social media accounts, which I'll be linking right here, or they'll be linked down below, but they are all right here if you want to go to them, where I'll be asking different questions. We'll be working together in order to be making this entire campaign as a storytelling community. So I really hope you can be a part of that. All right, let's move on to the next tip. The 5th and final tip, and I personally think is the most fun and important tip, is drop in your weird. Now, what exactly do I mean by that? So I'll give you an example. Inside of one of my games called Political, which I named Political Median, which I'm really hoping you guys can start seeing the gameplay of. I'm working really hard in order to actually get that to work. So if you guys haven't already started seeing gameplay, I hope you will in the future. Anyways, my political media campaign has this one shop that's called Enchanted Silks. And when you go to the Enchanted Silks, basically it's a fully wooden building with no windows and no doors. And the way you have to enter is, in your mind, the owner of the shop, Greenie, talks to you and says, "Why, hello. Thank you very much for coming to my shop. You may enter." And opens up her mouth, which is the front of the shop. And as they enter into the shop, all the various different clothings just float in the sky, or in the roof, I should really say, of the building. And a singular pillar of green goo forms up, which is basically the tongue of Greenie. And as it folds over in order to look at the different party members, it says, "Why, welcome to my shop. I trade in gold, but I will taste your memories better." And that is my form of weird. Drop in something that's not normal, something that is very different. That way your party will be much more attached to that, much more grounded to that. Various examples of this is like Pumat Soul for Matthew Mercer in his game. So just drop in your own creativity and own weird that'll just really add an anchor in your party all together, I should say. I really hoped you enjoyed the content I prescribed in this video. If you really liked it, please feel free to sneak attack that like button. And if you really liked it, please feel free to subscribe, as I post new content every single week, just like this one, help storytellers just like you. I really hope that you guys enjoyed it. I really love you guys. And in a world without fantasy, sometimes you need a little Dungeons and Dragons.